Sorry, bro. Oh, sorry. So, uh, thanks for the quick update. I think from last 5 minutes I was not audible. Can anyone confirm? Am I audible now? Just the quick update. Am I audible now? Guys, waiting for the response. Yeah. Okay. Great. So, what? Let me quickly wrap up the things which I have talking about from last 5 minutes. So, in the let me use different pen for the same annotation. Yeah. So, in the last session, we have covered the IAM in the AWS. So, what the name like when we need the IAM thing? IAM thing we need when we have any identity. Identity means like when you have to show yourself like you are the that person. You have your self identity, and you have to tell to anyone like you are that person only. So for that we need the identity, and the identity needs one the identity associated with the every user. We call the user like it's related to the account, but in the it depends upon then your application. Multiple uh, application are using the identity as a account level. Some are using the in the what is organization level. Some are using the user level. So it depends upon the things which uh, which are the things like you have in your application, and how you are using your multi-user thing. So IAM and the authentication if we need when we have the user, and for the single user it doesn't mean when we have the multi-user, so it's called the multi-user tendency. So you all know what the multi-user is, but what's the means of the multi-user tendency? Tendency means like it's come from the tenant sorry tenant. So if we see in the tenant, so what's the tenant mean? Tenant means a single identity. The single entity, it's called the entity. Uh, how they are, how the creator of the application, like here, the AWS, like the AWS guy, how their guys are creating. So every user have their the entity which they call the tenant. And what's the tenant mean? Like for the example, you all have I think your Instagram account, and in the Instagram account, what you are trying to do, you will go in the login page first, and you uh, give your what I say user and pass thing. You will give, and once you have given, you will see your profile. Okay, so if I talk you, and you will also see one dashboard. This was the dashboard you will see, and in that dashboard, what you have your post and reels, videos, and if you have your stories, your profile thing. So these are the things you have. But the thing is, Instagram don't have only one user and only one type of user. I can in the Instagram you can create a private account, a business account. So these are the things you can do: personal, business, private, public. These type of things you can users you can create for the different requirement. But here every user think like they are in their own workspace. What the means of own workspace? Like you are thinking of own workspace. So you will think about you are in the own workspace. That means all the things you are seeing, you are thinking that is only belong for me. But it doesn't look like that. For Instagram, you are the user and they are giving you some kind of private space which you can use. So, like the same way, we have a tenant that called the tenant. Here, if I call upon the in the OS bus, let me cover first the AWS because we have covered the AWS yesterday, many concepts. So, in the AWS, you have a user. So, I count the account. So you have your user or account, these things you have. And here, if you are, for example, you are creating a one VM, simple thing. So you will think like this VM is belonging from me. But if you see they the which area which you are using in the AWS, they have the multiples VM there. But you will think about these. This is only one VM which associated with my account. So you can see only one. Okay. So multi-user tenancy, like you need the VM, and so it doesn't want the resources which you are creating. It will show your account, and you will think like this is your personal workspace. And similarly, if I talk about the user in the multi-user tenancy in the OS, so the thing is, you are having one user with some kind of permissions like the general user, root, and other, and you have your own workspace here. Here workspace called the home directory. Home directory. So if I can show you home directory. So if you go inside like your Windows OS, so you will see some path called C colon slash and some your username here. My name is Bobby. So it will something this path of you can see. If I open my command prompt, you can see clearly this user and the this thing. So these are the things you will see. This is your private space workspace that called the home directory. So the user which is inside their home directory, they have a permission to create their files and set the permission. They can set use there. But if you have a different account, for example, like I have my different account for, let's say about the Bob I have. So if we are in this user, so we can go in this home directory. But if we are in this, so we can go only this. And if we talk about the root and or admin, so they can go on the slash directory. Okay, in the command prompt, if I show you run an as admin, so you will see this path. So this path is the root path of Windows where the Windows server is installed. Okay, and first thing is the thing how when we have user, so how you can get the thing, you have a user. So the thing is you have some in the AWS. I'm covering both the part OS and the AWS. AWS. So in the OS, you have your local storage. In the AWS, they have their own DB. So when we are creating the user, it will create an entry of the user here. But if we are creating local, so it will create an entry in your local. So in the AWS DB, we can't go inside that because we can't see how many users they are. They are there internal, but in the local we can go and we will see. So for that, let me open my VM quickly. Let me open. Yeah, it's opening. So by the meantime, it will open. So what it will do, it will create an entry, and from that location where they have all the users entry, it will always check from there. So if you know, like when we are creating which are the locations are affected and what the effects are happening, so you can use the same places to storing your data manually, and then you can create and you can modify also. It depends upon the you how you can use. So the IAM user creation I have covered in the yesterday session, how you can create in the AWS, but how you can create in your OS. If OS is specifically if you call it the Linux, how you can create? We can create by the when we have one command called the user add command. With the user add command, we will create, and it will affect some files. I will show you some file and what are the entries it will create. So I think this is up. Yeah. So let me go to my root account. I will tell you like how you can enable this thing in the full screen. Just give me some time. Till that time you can bear with me. So if I show you, we have a user at command. So let me first we are running in command. Sorry, user. So this command we have, and why I didn't pass anything, because this is the help which you can see. You can pass the password encrypted to a new account, create new system user. Like you can create a system user directory into chroot and other things you can do. So we have run this command. So let me first complete the what the command means. So basically, what the command is a program file, basically program file which come from some software. And when we are running any command, it will execute one file actually. So in my system, user add is a one file. In every OS, like which commands you have, they all are create. One file is created in your system, and you are executing that file by the name. So the thing is, you are executing any file by their name. It's something like if you have used some Python, so you have Python, or you have some what I say, uh, you have some demo.py file. So like that you are executing. So here we are executing by the, so if we cover the user add which we are, so we are not giving any Python or that thing. It's come from the bash. We have the bash shell, and in the Windows we have the command from terminal. So every have OS have their own shell. So if we go here, and how we can see that file, first the thing is that, so if I show you user, so you can ask to your system in the Linux, uh, which user add, like I don't know which year, so they will give you path, like in this path you have a one file, and let me go inside there. Cd is the command to go to that chain directory. It's a command. There are simple thing you will get familiar. ls is the list command for listing up. So if you see here na, these all the commands we have here, which is we can use. And if you see here, the amount and these cache and ownership, PQR, and it might be here. See, user add. User add, we have a user delete. So for the user deletion, you can use the house user add. So I can show you what this file. You can use cat command for seeing the data. So this is the file data. The file. If you know, when we are compiling any file, so it will, we will see like this. This is the executable file. So you can decrypt this. It's not a big deal, and you can see the code. And I also tell you like how you can see the actual code without like uh, decrypting this, and how you can get. I will tell you in some time when we go on the package menu those things. There we will tell you. So basically, we have the user command. So, and if you don't know about any command, you can use a man command. Man means manual, and you can type the user head. Then what it will do? It will open the manual, like you have your user manual of everything. So like that, you can see uh, what's the use of this command, user at system control command, user at this name of the command, what are the use of that, update default user information, new user creation, what's the synopsis, how you can description, options which they have, and other things. Also, if you don't know how you can use, you can go here in the, I think the last part. You can use your arrow key. I'm using the same. Oh, sorry. It will show. See also. Also, it will tell you like which are the commands you need after that, like pass wd, group add, and the things. So the related command it will also show. And the files which is affected from there, it will show here. Pass wd, etc pass wd is it is as shadow, it is as viewer, g shadow, default user at this file is skill. So you can see these files for seeing the, I will also show you. So for example, let me open this first file. It is the pass wd. So let me clear it. Sorry. Let me just check the HTML. Yeah, it's accident. I accidentally used the shortcut of the lock. So if we go and open this file slash etc slash pass. So here you will see all the, and if you see this line, or as you know, in the installation type we have the created one user. Okay, so at that time if you see, it will create this user and other things they have said. So I will let you know in some time what. And if you see, these all the things, these all the user. And what was the first user? That was the root, the admin which we are using. And how you can say any user that was the root or admin, it doesn't depend upon the name, it depends upon the user ID and group ID. If you see, so any user which have the ID 0, so that called as the root user. Also you can see other users, the service user. So how you can define it, which are the user is, I told you in the yesterday, you have a three kind of, like root user, general user, and the service user. So root user we can get when we have the ID called 0. You can also check it like UID is the command. Okay, sorry, ID is the command. If you see the ID, it will show you 0. And who am I will show you in which user you are. So if you have ID 0, and if I talk about the, sorry for my writing, the general one and the service. So when we have ID 0, that calls the use. And if you see here, I have created one general user called Bobby with my name. That calls the 1000. So if you have ID 1000, it doesn't mean like you have 1000. Uh, it depends if you have ID 1000 or greater than 1000. So that means you are the general user. Why I am saying greater than? Because you know ID will be the specific to every user. Okay, and apart from that, from the 1 to 1, oh, sorry, 999, this is the range of the service user. Service user. So if you see here, I can show you uh, simplest service which you guys have seen. I think the mail. I think you have seen mail. So mail is a one user. When you are using the mail thing, so it will create this. So like this way, you will find out which are the users you have and how you can create the user with a user add command. You can give a user add and just give your name. I am giving, well, Bob. See, when we got the same terminal again, that means this user is created. And how you can verify? Just simply see this file. But this file you can only see via the root. Otherwise, you don't have the permission. Permission things we will talk about the later. How you can set the permission, modify the permission. And if you see here, what it is creating this one line. And if I wait, let me take the screenshot of this, and then nothing is suitable. Yeah. So this have the entry, and so what is entry means? What it entry means? If you have see these things, I think they have, yeah, you have this thing. Wait, let me make it a little bit small. Okay. So this entry you have, and this in this entry you have multiple things. And what how we can separate them? We are separating this by column. If you see these columns here, this one, and this one. So these are the entries we have. An entry is this, this, this one, this one, this, and this. So what we can comma is the sorry. Uh, this is the entry which is separated by the column. So we call it like a delimiter. We call it. From that we are separating our entries. And what these entries? First call is your username. Okay. Second shows your pass. So it doesn't like password. Like X is not your password. It's like a link of your password. We have set at the password, and it's link. It is the link of the password. It will go on that the password file where the password is stored. So generally, password is stored in the slash etc slash shadow. Yeah, slash shadow. So in the shadow, you can see the password, and this one is your user ID, and every user belongs to one group only. Like at least one group. This is the group ID, and you all think you can see here. This is 1,000. This is also shown. So it is not the same every time. It depends upon how many users you have and how many groups you have. So generally they are incrementing by one. So if you create a new users, it will create a 1,000. If you create now, if you will create only group, so it will create a group called 1,002. Then it will again. So it's the incrementing thing. And then what this name is say? This is the alias. Why we call the alias is like your something called the nickname, or you can call the this name is like a display name. Display name. So display name is that you will see this name on your display when you are trying to log in. So they will prompt you with this name. And for this thing, this is the home directory. Home directory. And the last is the shell which we are using. Currently we are using the bash shell. So this, we can, if we don't want to give any user login permission, so we use the bin slash no login. So if we're giving them, so the users which is there, they can't get the shell like bell. They can't log in and do the things. They can just execute without the login. So all the service users which we have, they are using the no login shell. Also in if I go home, so these are the entry and the password which I talk about. So generally password is a like secret thing, you don't want to expose it. So if I show you, yeah, if I show you this, sorry, I opened the same file, etc slash shadow. Yeah, if you see here na, and you will see one difference here. What difference you will see? Here if you see, in the bobby we have this thing, the string which you can see from here to here. So this will represent like you have set it the password, and if you see in the bob, this one is empty, so we didn't set the password here. Okay, and this is the same kind of thing, the name, the password and other things, like in which range they are belonging, so they will tell you. And if I created the pass, so how can create the pass? So there was a command called passwd. What you have to do, you just have to give your username. I am giving the bob, changing your password for the bob. I am giving my default password. It's gave the warning that's shorter than 8 characters, so yeah, it's the 6 characters. That's why it's, then it, and now it will open. If I open, see, this is the password we have set. So if I talk you, I have set the same password for this and this. Okay, the password which I have set, my default one, that called the is a Linux. I have given, sorry, I don't give, I have given a Red Hat, because this is the Red Hat OS. And generally my habit is which OS I am using, I will give that OS name. So I have sent the but two times for the user Bob, and the second which we have with my name called Singh. So I have set it the same password, but it is not showing the same. The data which we are seeing in slash etc slash shadow, it was not the same. So why it is not same? Because see, it might be multiple user are using the same password, also having the access of this. So they, if they can see the same entry is written for my user or same entry written for the other user, so they can get the password for that. So we don't want that, na? That's a, and what mentions here that thing. So what we are doing here, here we are using one algo. I also we are not storing the Red Hat as the same. So here we are using one algo called the SHA 512. SHA 512. So this algo we are using for and uh, hashing the password. Why I call the hash? Like you can get the things like you can verify if you have any string. So you can get the hash of that and you can compare. Like from this string, this hash is coming. If it's called a true, then it will log in. And if it's like string is different from their hash, so it will. Uh, every time they will create the new hash. So you can authenticate the hash, but you can, like, it's not like every time you are, it's not like the decrypting encrypting thing, encode decode. So it's a thing what you have here. You can get the hash, and by storing the hash we are authenticating. We are storing hash, and then we are using that same algo in the reverse order uh, to authenticate. That was the same. When it's got the success, you can log in inside your OS. So like this you can also, you can see the other arguments of uh, this two commands in the user. See, you can create the user with the different group. You can specify the group and the things, list of so you can do. Also we have the same command for the group add. So you can create the group. If you are want to give a specific group ID, so you can give. Also for the file where they are storing, it was the group file. So see, this was the group. And if I show you UID, if we go in the file section, so we can see every file which are affected. You can go open that file, uh, analyze that file, what they are doing, what are the entries they have. So I am just giving you the overview. Other thing you can find out, it's not a big deal. Also they will give you the exit value. Like if you got the exit value there 0, that means success. 1, can't update the password file. So for everything they will give you this different exit. So in the troubleshooting time, we need this exit code, the return values. Okay, this is the subnet, this file. See, I have this one. So this is the sub UID. So like this, you can see all the files which you are having in your OS, and you can create the user. How you can add the permission? By default they will give you the home directory. So if I can show you, I am logouting from here. Let's switch. Wi-Fi. Yeah. See, now we have user. And if I go in the copy with my name and type the password, now you will see one thing. The permission and things, how it will also give you that new page of screen, what we have seen in the login time. Yeah. So let's wait for some seconds. If I open the terminal, no? Yeah. If you see, first the thing is it's changed with my name. Also, if I go and see the present working directory, so this was the direct code. So this was the directory which we have created. This is the path where we are right now. And if I am trying to go the root. See, permission to write. Also, if we are trying to go in the etc, we can go open and let me open this slash etc dot pass wt file. See, you can see it, the data, but the things, uh, you can see the user which here. If I talk about the shadow, see, shadow file you can't see because you can see the user which you have, because sometimes we need which all the user are presented in my system, but the password hash, it's not the good thing to expose everyone. So that's why you will see the permission right there. And how we can get the assign the permission, we will see in the upcoming sessions. And like this way you can create the user, other users, and the service user also you can create. It depends upon your requirement, because many times there's a troubleshooting time, we are deleting the service user, creating new one, or signing some different permission sets. So these are the things we have done, yeah, for different requirements. So you can practice till here, create the all the accounts in the cloud, and this one also authenticate yourself by what I say, uh, by the user and access key, secret key you have in the AWS. And then we in the next week we will uh, go and use some programming concept and try to authenticate and see will. So we are taking multiple things on parallel, so we can just integrate them, use it, combine it, and do other stuff also. Also, in some time, I will also tell you how you can create the tool like the Ansible with the help of programming language. So these things you can do, because if you know about the Ansible, so it's created in the Python, and if you can write the same kind of code, so you can also create your own tool if you want. Okay. So till here, if you guys have any doubts, so you can ask. Otherwise, we will wrap up today. Also, there is a one doubt where it's come yesterday. Uh, for some from some person, they told you, they asked about I am. It's related to the user. So it's not only related to the user. It's related to the identity experience. So you are managing all the type of identity. It's like type of user. You have a groups. You have a uh, others called policies, role, other permissions. So you all can set this thing. Also in the IAM you can set the MFA. You have a multi-factor authentication. You can set the 2FA, two-factor authentication. So these are the things you can do there. So you guys have any other queries? I think no. Okay. So we will we are ending this session today, and once we got anything like your in your requirement, we got anything to implement in this course, so we will surely implement in this. Also, if you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay. So till there, bye guys, take care, and we will catch up in the next week on the same time. Okay.